Hello, everybody, and welcome to End Times Talk. I hope you're having a good morning. And it's actually been really nice weather out lately. Been getting warm, man. Been getting warm. Summer is right around the corner, and with that, I always noticed, in past years, as I've been a watchman, that there's always an uptick and there's always an upheaval. There's always something going on in summer that just, brings about chaos. I think it's the heat. People get hot and they get sticky and they get cranky, and just the worst in people comes out. And it's no secret that the FIFA World Cup is coming to town, and the same with the Super Bowl, and the same with like the Olympics. Human trafficking is just through the roof during that time. And they actually have to have a lot of security guards at these sort of events. And I do believe, and I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe that the FIFA World Cup is because I don't pay attention to soccer, football. You know I don't pay much attention to it at all. Actually, I pay no attention to it, so I don't know anything about the game except for how it's played per se. But I'm pretty sure FIFA is bigger than like the Super Bowl and all that stuff. There's a whole lot more countries involved in FIFA. It's a global thing rather than a localized national thing. Just for America, like the NFL is. And in fact, I would definitely assume that when it comes to attendance, it's bigger than the Olympics. Um, anyways, um pertaining to the FIFA World Cup, I seen this video out there where they are using robot dogs for security reasons at the FIFA World Cup in Dallas. This is in Dallas right here. And of course they have AI on them, a facial scanning CPU, on the robot itself, and know who's there, what's going on. You know what I mean? And it's obviously, you can see on the side of it there, Boston Dynamics. Let me blow this up a little bigger here. Hold on. You can see right on the side of it, says Boston Dynamics, and they partnering with Hyundai. So uh, this is part of the security now. So again, uh, we've talked about the different states. I think last live or the live before that, we talked about the different states and that are deploying drone technology, and the different police departments all over the United States that have and are preparing to deploy drone technology to start policing. And we've seen private, we've talked about the private businesses and things like that all over the globe. They're saying over, I think it's over 5,000 businesses globally are adopting, robot dog technology. And, we've seen it even in videos coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, and whatnot. And so to me, this is really concerning. Even more than like Ebola, hantavirus, whatever mumbo jumbo they can cook up, whatever they can cook up and make up in a lab, anything that, the implementation of the Skynet scenario. They're even bringing all of the military hardware, all the missiles, all the tech, everything is coming online into AI. And AI, I forget what the bill was, that where they were where they're trying to do that or whatever, or they have done it. I can't remember which, but they want to integrate AI into everything and let AI and this one system control it all. And that's Skynet. That's Skynet. And I mean, I know that a lot of these things are fortified in a way that they can take you know some high velocity rounds and keep ticking, I know that there are classes out there, and you'd have to do your own research. I'm not going to tell these sort of things here, but I know that there is classes out there that exist that will say, and I'm winking as I'm saying this to you, point out the vulnerabilities in these things and what you can do to make life easier for yourself, if you know what I'm trying to say. Uh, and so, you know, it's something that's concerning to me because it's really picking up pace. It's not just some slow trickle, it's picking up pace. There's more and more of it. They're getting you used to it. They're getting, these things are expensive, you know. And I know Sister Kimmy B was telling me that she was doing some research and she was talking about all these Tesla factories that are pumping out this Tesla robot. In China, it has is pumping out robots by the thousands, and they got the ability to perform kung fu. I mean, it's crazy stuff. The I've seen these dogs here have flamethrowers on them and whatnot. Absolute insanity. If you ask me, the technology's out of control. The beast system, they're implementing it, they're rolling it out, they're getting it in place so that way when the Antichrist arises, they got to have the whole system set up. The system's got to be there. The structure for the system takeover's got to be there. The 10 kingdom, 10 king order has to be there. So they're getting all this set up. Donald Trump's getting all of this set up. I don't believe Donald Trump's the Antichrist at all. The Antichrist isn't going to build his own system. He's going to take it over. Power is going to be handed to him very quickly. There's going to be something set on a platter and handed to the Antichrist. They're literally going to use chaos and havoc to tenderize the meat, so to speak, before they cook us, so to speak, as humanity, And I'm speaking to everybody here, not just Christians. I don't just speak to a Christian only audience. There are other channels that will cater to that, but I am talking to everybody, even people who are tribulation saints and things like that. So I'm not a person that only talks to people who believe in the pre-tribulation rapture, and I am one of those people. But so when I'm saying something, I'm saying it generally, so to speak. But they are trying to tenderize us to get us ready to accept this thing, and the chaos and the destabilization and the havoc that they're going to continue to wreak on society. Is going to pave that path for the Antichrist to be like, oh yeah, I'll accept this silver platter with this whole kingdom on it, and he's going to come on this platform of peace. It's all going to be built, tenderized, and ready. The juiciest steak that they can have ready for the Antichrist. That's what they're going to have if you want to look at it that way. And so all of this rollout shows us we're really speeding up. We're getting there. I mean, I don't, robots are policing already in China. I've seen footage of it. I've seen footage of robots freaking out and all of this stuff that's been going on. Robots turning violent on people. It's crazy to me. So hold on one second here. So with that being said, something that I believe, that the Bible says that the Antichrist will cause all free and bond, rich and poor, to take a mark in their right hand. Very specifically, the Bible states the right hand or their forehead. So it's going to be something that's on or in the right hand, and it's something that's going to be on or in the brain. And when, Elon Musk, that's been working on this Neuralink for a while, all right, that's always led me to believe, like, this thing I believe is going to like interface with the internet. It's not going to just be a name or a tattoo or a barcode or something like that. This thing is going to have access to the system, whatever it is. And that's why Neuralink, I truly believe, is that mark in the forehead. I believe it's going to be something that's going to become a part of you when you take the mark of the beast. You know, and once you take that mark, it's over with. You know, you've chosen your path. You know, the Bible's very clear. There is no redemption if you take the mark of the beast and you join a system. The reason why is because you will have to reject Jesus Christ. We've shown you many times on this channel how David Spangler, who worked for the United Nations, talked about it being a Luciferian New World Order. So with a Luciferian acceptance, there has to come a Christ rejection. But they'll have their own Christ, don't worry. But so you know, they'll have a replacement, but they want you to reject Jesus of the Bible. There's a reason that it's all funneling into that. But I do want to say this, that Elon Musk said this about the Neuralink, and it just floored me, man. Wait until you hear the end of this. Hold on one second. This is going to shock you. It's insane what he says here.
You know, I think some kind of brain-machine interface that can give you cybernetic superpowers, I think, is probably good. It could, you know, help people that have brain or spine injuries. You know, enable people who've never spoken for years to speak again, which we've done. Give people eyesight who have lost.
They're going to sell it to you as a good thing, just like the phone. Oh, if you buy a phone, you'll be able to text your family. You'll be able to access social media. And I'm telling you right now, whether you want to hear it or not, your phone is a disease. Your phone is the problem. Your access to the internet is your biggest problem in your life. If people were serious about who was, I mean, I don't want to go that far. I want to say, though, that the phone and getting away from it is so important. But the way that they sold it to us, everybody's got one now, right? Everybody's got one now. They sold it to us like, hey, this will be good for you. Hey, you'll be able to communicate. Hey, people can call you when you're out and about. You'll be at the beach and you can get a phone call, you know? And it all started with them big old phones that look like a big old brick upside your head and big old long 4-foot antenna. You know what I mean? You had to like move around to like find a signal. But it's traveled forward from that. And now there's applications and video games on your phone, and everybody's got to have it when they take a poop. And, you know, everybody's got to have one when they go to the store. Got to make sure you put your grocery list on it. It has become almost, and they kind of prepared you for it in high school with those daily planners and things like that. You know, it kind of, the cell phone is one of those daily planners that tells you how to live your life. You set your reminders on it, your alarms on it. Instead of having an alarm clock, your phone tells you when to wake up. Your phone tells you when to go to bed. Your phone gives you notifications of what you want to see. I mean, it is a complete control grid. So, but they sold it to us as if it's a good thing. And now I'll tell you right now, I feel oppressed by my phone. Do you feel oppressed by your phone? Raise your hands if you've ever felt oppressed by your phone, or say me in the live chat or in the comment section below if you've ever felt oppressed by technology ever in your life. And I can guarantee you there's a lot of people that have. All right. And Elon Musk is selling the Neuralink like, oh, it's going to do this and it's going to do that and it's going to do this and it's going to do that. But and they did the same thing with the phone, and everybody's got one now. So do you see how this, even though it takes surgery, and I'm sure they'll eventually have it to where they just stick it in your skin and it works. You know what I mean? The technology's so far out there. You know what I mean? Just some like topical pin that they just stick in you, and you know what I mean? But it's, the problem is that it comes with the loss of your soul. When you take that mark, man, you are losing your soul. And there are people that are already taking it in the Neuralink and the implantable chip in the hand. You know, they have chipping parties, and they willingly are already selling their souls to the New World Order, to the Antichrist, to the devil. They're already choosing to turn from God by doing this stuff. So they're just selling it to mankind, and again, they did it before. They do it again. Everybody's going to have one. But listen to what he says next.
Both eyes of the optic nerve, or maybe have never even seen at all, blind from birth, by direct interface to the optical centers in the brain. You can actually restore eyesight, or give people eyesight that they've never had before, and you can enable people to walk again, which I think.
Are you listening to what's happening? You can restore eyesight. You can enable people to walk again. And I'm going to tell you right now, listen to what he says next.
I think is profound. I mean, these are kind of Jesus level things, you know, like, I mean, these are kind of Jesus level things, you know, I mean, these are kind of Jesus level things, you know, I mean, these are kind of Jesus level things, you know.
Do you get what's going on now? These are kind of Jesus level things. Are you serious, man? Is he serious right now? I'll be honest with you. If anybody was on the fence about who Elon Musk is or anything like that, I mean, you just found out what it's all about. You think you can perform miracles like Jesus, bro? Really? I don't think so, Tim. I don't think so, Tim. And it just goes to show the mentality, the pride, the haughtiness. We can be God. There is nothing you could even Elon Musk couldn't even come close to who Jesus actually is. You diminish Jesus to a magician or some, doctor. Jesus is the only begotten Son of God that died for the sins of the world. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever should believe in him should have everlasting life and shall not perish. He is the Savior of the world, and you diminish him to some traveling salesman with some elixir, that some magical potion that can fix everything, in some carnival cart, with a couple of horses coming to town. I mean, are you kidding me? That's so ridiculous, man. That's so ridiculous. Anyways, on with it, right? We've talked a lot about Agenda 2030, about how they have always said you're going to own nothing, you're going to have nothing, and you're going to like it, right? We've talked about that plenty of times. You're going to own nothing, you're going to have nothing, and you're going to like it. And we've kind of wondered, like, what is this going to end up being, you think? You know what I mean? And so I feel like what I'm about to show you is actually going to give you a little bit more of an insight into what their plans are for that, and how you're going to own nothing, and that you're going to have nothing, and you're going to like it. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy not owning anything, right? So I'm just going to play this, and then I'll comment on it afterwards.
Every product is a service waiting to happen. If you think about it, I mean, your cell phone, why do you want to own your cell phone? How many of you own your cell phones? How many knows if the company owns it? It's actually not a lot. I mean, you want the function, you want the service, right? Why do you want to own a cell phone if you can just lease it? And if you lease, why shouldn't you lease your refrigerator or your washing machine or your dishwasher? Or why do you want to own it? I mean, it's not like the plastic in the middle is like, I own a broke dishwasher. I mean, wow. No, why don't you want to go into a business model where the company owns it? You know what happens when the company owns it? Actually, they can bring down the prices because they don't have to buy new metal and new plastic. They design a much better product. It lasts a lot longer if they have to pick it up when it breaks. They might even send somebody to fix it. And in the end, they will do a better product, and you will get a lower price. It's much cheaper to lease a washing machine if you get the business model right, because you don't have to own all of this. So this change from product to service is pushing a lot of this, of the circular economy, because the second the business owns the products, they start designing them in a way where everything can be taken out and reused, and then you get the incentives right.
So they want to turn every product that you have, that you use, like your washer, your dryer, all that stuff, into one of these subscription things. And then that way, if you don't pay your dues, they can turn it off. If you don't listen to the system, if you don't listen to the way that they want you to live with the new coming digital IDs, they'll just turn everything off, and you'll be back at the Stone Age. And so people that plan to not submit to a satanic, Luciferian, pedophile, evil new world order global government ran by the Antichrist, you plan on not giving your life to Jesus right now, all right, you better figure out how to survive. You better figure out how to get your own food, forage your own food, grow your own food, raise your own food, butcher your own food, harvest your own food, prepare your own food, preserve your own food. Because they're going to have it to where there could be like some governmental Meals on Wheels stuff happening for the masses. Eventually, they're going to be rolling out the Soylent Green bug, protein bar meals, for everybody to munch on. And you're going to get a box, probably delivered to, your 15-minute city. Get it? Oh, we just got the new shipment of bug bars, Marge. I'm so hungry. I'm starving. I mean, it just sounds so good and yummy and wholesome, doesn't it? Disgusting, if you ask me. And then they're, liquefying dead people and putting it in the crops and all that stuff as fertilizer. I mean, this is real stuff. This is real stuff that's happening. Soylent Green is people. Soylent Green is people. All right, so then you got, mainstream YouTube influencers trying to sell you on all this bull crap. And I come across this, and, a lot of people just think it's, just whatever. It's just fun. It's just a YouTube channel. People just have fun. They do games and jokes and they give away money. He's a good person, right? Well, listen to this, man. Listen to this.
Now that Mr. Beast has officially shown his true colors, we need to keep our children and everybody away.
And I'll tell you, he's partnered with Neuralink. He's literally promoting Neuralink. And he works for the Rockefeller Foundation. He's partnered with the Rockefeller Foundation. Right there.
Away from his propaganda. If you don't already know, Mr. Beast is the #1 YouTuber with 450 million followers. And lately, since his Rockefeller partnership, he's been pushing lab-grown meat with Bill Gates' Upside Foods and brain chips with Elon's Neuralink. And it always starts with pulling on our heartstrings to gradually introduce the real evil that's behind the product. It will save the chickens. It will make the paraplegic walk again. The world must understand that the advertised version of certain products are not the end game of these products.
So it's not, and I'm going to stop it right there. The end game isn't, what you're seeing. It's what's coming. And it's about a system that's arising right beneath our noses. That's happening every day, moving forward every day. It's not slowing down. It's picking up pace. And the quantum computing and the AI data centers and all this different stuff that exists, the drones, the robot dogs, the Neuralink, the microchips, all of it, social media, the Internet of Bodies, the Internet of Things. You see what I'm saying? And all those drones, robot dogs, your Apple Watch, your iPhone, your Android phone, anything that's attached to Google or anything that's attached to YouTube or your computer at home or your smart TV. These are the Internet of Things. They all link up. They all link up. And so it becomes a control grid, I forget what, there was a word for it here. Like the chain link technology, I think is what it's called. And everything links together and creates this like massive technocratic dystopian control grid umbrella, like a dome, if you will. And I'll tell you, I appreciate you, Ben Sherman. God bless you, brother. I'll tell you, the cameras that they have set up in your city, in the intersections and things like that, and on the highways, freeways, interstates, things like that, it's all there to watch you. It's all part of that control grid. And people like Mr. Beast, the most popular YouTuber, are trying to sell you that lifestyle. I wonder who is moving him to do such a thing and who's behind him now. And I'll tell you what, I ain't gonna watch any of his mumbo jumbo, and I wouldn't suggest you do either. And I wouldn't suggest you let your kids watch anything Mr. Beast either. The name says it all. Do I think Mr. Beast is the Antichrist? Absolutely not. But he, like Donald Trump, is working us towards a new world order. And we've all heard J.D. Vance in front of Megyn Kelly say that it's a new world order in globalization. It's just an America first new world order. It's an America first new world order is what Donald Trump is trying to sell to you. You know, and that's how he's trying to strike a happy medium with the people that are running the show. But you can't make deals with the devil. You can't be a Christian and make deals with the devil. So I don't know what he believes. I don't know what he's doing, but you got to be downright dumb and stupid to not see that you're fulfilling Bible prophecy and bringing about the beast system. You got to be deaf, dumb, and stupid to not see. And it's right in his face. So, I mean, I kind of lean towards the dude's got to know what he's doing. I mean, he was friends with Roy Cohn, and he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and he was friends with all these people that are really gnarly people that I believe are Illuminati. Jared Kushner. Now Jared Kushner is buying an island in the Mediterranean, and it's going to be this elite haven for all the rich, fat cat banksters to go hang out at and probably do God knows what to God knows who. All these people are cut from the same cloth, and we are not their kind. We are not their kind. That's all I have to say. I don't want to be nothing like these people. Yes, we want Jesus to come back soon. Absolutely. All right. Hold on here. Now, this one's interesting, man. This one's interesting. And I want to break this down a little bit because there's a lot of symbolism here. And I believe that this is a euro. Okay. I'm a 50 euro bill. I don't know how they say it because I'm in America. Most Americans are ignorant and they're like, oh, everything's American. It's a $150 bill. Hold on one second here. Bring this up. So this is a euro. Says right here, euro, 50 euros. Okay. Watch this thing, and I'm going to pause it as we get into it, and I want to break this down. So check this out, right? There's a lot of symbolism right here. Lots and lots of symbolism right here in this. First off, I want to say this. Let me make this a little bigger for you. First off, I want to say this about this on the back of the 50 euro bill. All right. Is one, yes, this is definitely like a Baphomet figure, but it doesn't only represent Baphomet. It has a bullish look to it as well. It could definitely be a Molekian, figure like Molech. You have the sun disk. The sun disk is something that is very prevalent in occult symbolism, and it represents Nimrod. It represents, you have the sun, you have the moon, and then you have the moon child, Nimrod, Semiramis, Tammuz, the first family of the occult out of the Tower of Babel. And I could show you, let me see here. Let me show you something here. Hold on. Give me a moment. Give me a second. I'm going to pull something up for you because I want you to get a picture here. I got to pull up two things. Hold on. All right, hold on. We're just going to go back here. All right, now, okay. So I have what I need coming back here. I'm going to set this aside just for a moment. We're going to come back to it. I want to prove some stuff to you here. All right, what Europe is doing. So here you have the Tower of Babel. Okay. That's a little smaller here. Whoops. Here you have the Tower of Babel. Okay. And you can see it's a spiraling ziggurat. It's what they call a ziggurat, not a cigarette, a ziggurat with a Z. Ziggurat. And this was a Mesopotamian structure that they would build. There's quite a few of them in the Iraq, Syria area where these things used to exist. And right near Babylon, Iraq, they have two different sites that are argued to be the original site of the Tower of Babel. So you see that ziggurat, and it's unfinished at the top. If you notice, it's unfinished at the top. That's very key to understanding what I'm about to show you, okay? So you have that. I'll stop sharing that. Hold on a second. And let me pull up the next one here. Now, if you notice, and I'm not going to click on it because it makes it to where it cuts off some. This is the EU Parliament building right here. Okay? And you see it up here. This is the EU Parliament is what it's talking about. All right? It's got all stuff. EU Parliament building. And this is an unfinished ziggurat. You can see the spiraling, the outward spiraling inward, and then it's unfinished at the top, just like the Tower of Babel. So I believe that the euro is the EU's money. All right. I'm not 100% sure. But you have that same ziggurat formation that they have there. All right. Now, let's go back to the euro here. Now, isn't it interesting? There is 10 stars when you do this. There's 10 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That makes 10. 10 kings. And this disc can be like a rebirthing of Nimrod into an Antichrist figure. You know, and it seems to me that the European Union is signaling that they are ready to do their part in the 10 kingdom order. And you can see those 10 kingdoms, like they're announcing basically the new world order, the global order, just like the same stuff that we have on the US dollar bill. They have changed the backs of some of the pennies. Heck, they got rid of pennies now. They changed nickels and they changed quarters and they changed some of the dollar coins. They changed the 5s, the 10s, the 50s, the 20s, the hundreds, you know, all of it. They've changed every bill, right? And they've added colors and they did this and they did that. But the dollar bill, the US $1 bill, has stayed the same. They have not changed that one bit. And it's not that they can't print more, because that's all they do is print money. It's because the symbolism on the dollar bill, all right, the symbolism on the dollar bill is the Illuminati's plan for a new global order. Hold on a second. I'm doing something here. Give me a moment. So I want to show you something here, and I'm going to use my own video to do it. Give me a moment here. So this is a video I made called "The Devil is in the Details: Secrets of the Dollar Bill." So I'm going to use this to go through this here. So you have these serial numbers here, okay? Those don't count, all right? We're not counting serial numbers, but you count the ones and where it says the word one, okay? you have the word one here, you have the word one here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have six of those on the front, and on the back, all right, you have 7, 8, because it says 1 and there's the number 1, so it counts as 2. So you have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, all right, 15, 16. And then here at the bottom of the pyramid, you have another one that's 17. And then here in the eagle's mouth, what's actually a phoenix, the phoenix's mouth, there is the word unum, and in Latin that means 1, for a total of 18, which can add up to 6 plus 6 plus 6. Now, a lot of people are going to argue this. I don't really care. They obviously are just listening to other people that are putting stuff out there. But if you really do your research, you'll find out that the 6-pointed star, right, inside a circle, and it really means one triangle upon the other, is placing man above God, is really what it is. It's not intersecting. It's not woven. All right. This is a symbol that Aleister Crowley invented for demonic sex magic. Okay. And it is used in the summoning of demons from hell to this plane of existence. Now, here's the thing. All right. You have one 6-pointed star with a circle around it up here, which is known as a hexagram. And I forget what Aleister Crowley actually called the symbol. It has its own name that he called it, but it's called a hexagram, because the pentagram is a upside down, 5-pointed star with a circle around it. This is a 6-pointed, all right? So there's one hexagram, then there's the circle around it, and then if you connect it from the talons, from that to the tip of the first hexagram, and then you connect the wingtips to the tail feathers, you have another hexagram. And then there's another hexagram here that equals to 6, 6, 6. So here's a 6, here's a 6, and here's a 6, right? So Annuit Coeptis means announcing the conception of the Novus Ordo Seclorum, new secular order. Anything that's secular can be translated as world. So announcing the conception or the birth, it could be translated as birth, announcing the birth of the new world order. An Annuit Coeptis Novus Ordo Seclorum, announcing the birth of the new world order. And then you have the Greek or the Roman numerals down here. The Roman numerals down here. And at the bottom, you have an M at the beginning and a 1 at the end. And totaling, it says 1776, but there were 2 events that happened on 1776. You have the signing of our Declaration of Independence on July 4th, and then on May 1st in Bavaria, Germany, you have the founding of the Illuminati by Adam Weishaupt and the Rothschilds family. The Rothschilds family financially backed Adam Weishaupt, who was a Jesuit priest. All right, very key, Jesuit priest, and the Masons and the Knights of Malta and all these people, they all have very tight connections, even though they're all separate things. Hold on, I'm getting a drink here. So anyways, the Pope at the time had disbanded the Jesuits and axed them. And the Rothschilds, came to Adam Weishaupt, knowing that Adam Weishaupt was a genius. He was a genius. One of those few geniuses that you would, have in a lifetime. You get a couple of them in a lifetime. Adam Weishaupt was a very smart individual. All right. And so they came to him knowing that he knows about the occult and all this stuff. And they said, we'll financially back you. You make this order and we'll financially back you. And so after they got discovered by the Baron in Bavaria, Germany, and I forget his name, he exiled all the Illuminati and the lodges of the Grand Orient and the Freemasons and all that stuff out of Bavaria, because they found the plot that they had to take over the world that was disguised as a Jewish conspiracy. That's a coded Illuminati document, the protocols, And there's a lot of people bringing up the protocols now. It's getting out there, but people are reading it as if it's the Jews doing it. I mean, if you are a Satanist and you wanted God's people, no matter who they were, whether Christians or Jews, to take the fall for what you're doing, wouldn't you write and code your document about how you're taking over the world in that context? And if you were Jewish going to take over the world, wouldn't you blame it on somebody else? So my point is that, you know, we can argue about who the conspirators are, but right now we're talking about the group, the Illuminati, the conspiracy to take over the world. Now, you have the left eye of Lucifer at the top of this pyramid. All right, you have 13 steps to the top of the pyramid, 13 letters right here, 13 letters right here, 13 letters right here, 13 stars that make up the hexagram right here. You have 13 leaves, you have 13 olives, you have 13 arrows, you have 13 stripes. All right, there's a lot of 13s, and 13 in gematria, which is a belief that the Illuminati has, is 13 represents depravity and rebellion. So remember that. All right. So then you got the left eye. It's an absolute left eye. It's Lucifer's left eye. All right. So if you go from in the Illuminati, the foundation is the beginning of all things. Like, you know, that's why in Freemasonry, even they focus on that cornerstone. They do the ritual of the corn, the wine, and the oil, where they do this ritual where they pour wine and oil and they lay corn on the cornerstone of the temples that they build, these Freemasonic temples that they build. So the foundation is very important. So if we start from the foundation and we go up, we have M. And if we go up, we have an A. And if we go over, we have an S. And if we go down to the O, we have an O. And then if you go up here, over to the N, in perfect succession, it spells Mason. It's not, you connect all the dots. It's out of line. You know, they do that purposefully. They do it purposefully where it's like M-O-N-A-S. That is not how Mason is spelled. But if you start from the foundation, M-A-S-O-N, and then you finish doing the pyramid or the hexagram, it's right there in your face. So announcing the birth of the New World Order on May 1st, 1776, it'll be all these ancient kingdoms. This represents the ancient kingdoms like you know, Assyria, Egypt, Babylon, the Medes and the Persians, the Greeks, the Romans, all these world kingdoms that have tried to conquer the globe at one point throughout history. Okay. And again, we've discussed that this is a phoenix. You can't see it in this video that I'm doing. Let me see if I can get a better, clear shot here. Pull it back some. Come on. So right here, if you look at the back of the supposed eagle's head, just like Indian headdresses will have the feathers going backwards, that is, you know, and a lot of natives, sorry, I didn't mean to say Indians, I meant Native Americans. And a lot of Native Americans will tell you that that represents the phoenix and like rebirth, you know what I mean, in a nutshell. I'm just kind of, you know, trying to say this quickly to get through this, but you have this eagle with a feather coming off the back of his head, and that feather alone makes it a phoenix. It makes it a phoenix. And if you look at the older dollar bills, all right, you will find out that it was a phoenix that was on the dollar bill before this supposed eagle. All right, it's not an eagle, it's a phoenix. And it represents in the occult realm rebirth. Okay, and if you look at the olive branch with the olive leaves, has always represented peace. Okay, and if you look at the arrows, that there represents our military might and the ability to protect ourselves. In the occult world, if you have a hand that is open, something is being given to you. So like if you were to be in the occult and you were to go to a palm reader, there would be a hand that would be open that has an eye in the center of it, even though that is like a talisman in other parts of the world, it counts as like a form of an all-seeing eye, absolutely, but it also represents you being given foresight of your future, or being given knowledge, or being given wisdom in the occult realm. So naturally, if a hand is open, it means you're being given something. A hand closed can represent something being taken away. All right, remember that. And both of these wings on the phoenix right here are interesting, because the one side has 33 feathers and the other side has 32 feathers. This is not an error. All right. Again, Mason, right over here. 32 is the different degrees in the York Rite of Freemasonry. There's 32 degrees in the York Rite, and then there's 33 degrees in the Scottish Rite. Okay. So then you have E pluribus unum and the banner of the eagle's mouth, and it means out of many one. But and actually, the question is, out of many one what? And people are going to argue with me here, but I'm going to tell you some facts. All right, 13 does not, just like the 13 stripes on the flag, 13 does not represent the original 13 colonies. There was never 13 colonies to begin with. There was 12, and then there was a subdivision called Washington, D.C. Those are the absolute facts. Those are the absolute facts. Is that 13 on the dollar bill and on our flag does not represent 13 colonies. It has a whole different meaning. All right. Now I'm going to kind of break this down here, and then I'm going to go further. All right. Let's tie this all together now, what we've learned. Oh, by the way, the shield in front of the eagle, or the phoenix, okay, it actually is white, black, white, black, white, black, white, black. You know what I mean? So there's 6 black stripes, and there's 7 white stripes. 7 is the number for God. 6 is the number for man. This shield is placing man above God. And all throughout 13, again, representing depravity and rebellion, also has an alternative meaning of man above God, man above God, man above God, man above God. The triangle pointing up represents man. The triangle pointing down represents God, man above God, man above God. All right, so depravity and rebellion, man above God, announcing the birth of the New World Order on May 1st, 1776. This rebirthing of this New World Order will be headed up by Lucifer, and it will be reborn. It will be under the guise of Freemasonry. The wings shelter, the wings stabilize, all right, through Freemasonry. This will be the avenue in which this New World Order comes about. They will take away our peace, and they'll take away the ability to protect ourselves. And this New World Order will place man above God, is what these two symbols represent. And that is what my own friend, who was ex-Illuminati, who was in the Illuminati, okay, taught me. All right. And there's a reason why they haven't changed the dollar bill. They've changed everything else. And just like the EU 50 dollar euro, or the EU 50 euro bill, okay, we have the same thing going on in our country, and it lets you know who is in control. And Doc Marquis said the Illuminati mark their territory. The Illuminati marked their territory. And that is exactly what's going on right here. Now, all right, if you look, and I can't spin this here. All right, I'm going to try to go back over to this one. All right, hold on, because I think I colored it in here. All right, now, so if we look over here, let's pay attention to this side of the dollar, on the back of the dollar bill here. I'm going to point something out. All right, down here, you have a demonic entity. You have the wings, you have the shoulders, and then you have the face right here. And if you look closely on your dollar bill, you can see that face, and it looks evil. You have two, and you see on the other side, if you come over here, you see the same winged creature, but I've drawn around it and colored in around it, so that way you can see how there is that image there. And these two chief spirits, all right, are on the dollar bill. Now, check this out. It's sideways. You'd have to flip the image to the right, okay? But these are the feet right here. This is the feet. These are the legs. This is the chest right here. Here's a wing, and here's another wing, okay? And then you have the horns of the owl. This is a Bohemian Grove owl. This is a Bohemian Grove owl right here on the dollar bill. On the dollar bill. And here's another thing for you. On the front of the dollar bill, up here, you have this area. You have a crescent moon. There's a crescent moon. This is actually the Rothschilds' shape of their shield, the actual shape of the Rothschild shield. But in this little crescent moon here, you have this little character here. Some people say it's a spider, but if you get a magnifying glass and you look really closely, that right there is another owl. There are multiple owls, and it being also representative of a spider in a way brings about the whole Bohemian Grove weaving spiders come not here. You see what I'm saying? And I can, I'm not, oh man. And I could even show you, I'm not turning on my camera right now. I'm just not, I don't have, like, my office is a mess. But I can show you the way to fold a $2 bill. I'll put a picture up in my post section, but there's a way to fold the $2 bill to where it is also a Bohemian Grove owl, the $2 bill. All right, so the symbolism of the Illuminati is all over this thing. And they show the path working in which they're getting the job done. All right, they're showing the path working in which they're getting the job done, bringing about a new world order. Okay? You have to understand that. You have to. Now, going back to this, the Baphomet, so to speak, on the back of the 50 euro bill, all right, you have the sun disk that represents Nimrod. You have Molech here. You have Baphomet here. It's kind of a dual meaning there. Then you have 10 stars that I believe represent. And notice how it's by the horns. 10 horns. 10 kings emerging. Are they getting ready to pull this off? I believe so. I believe Donald Trump's a part of it. I believe everybody is getting ready to do their part to bring about a beast system. And if you look, going back here, let me see if I can. Hold on, right here. You can actually see the Baphomet head, and the shoulders right here. But see how the other half of it is the EU right here? So it's just showing how it's merging into that. You see? And there's still 10 stars, I believe. There's still 10 stars right here. And even when you bring it back to this, it's still 10 stars. So it's obvious that they're talking about the New World Order here, a satanic New World Order. I don't know what's going to bring about this order, but I know something's coming that's going to bring it about. Okay? I don't know what's going to bring it about, but I know something's coming is going to bring it about. And I know they're saying now that this Ebola stuff is going to be the worst thing, the worst Ebola outbreak in modern history, even worse. They're saying it's definitely going to be worse than the 2014, I think it was East Africa or West Africa outbreak that took place, the Ebola outbreak that took place there in 2014, in 2015. And they're saying that the health workers cannot keep up with the flood of patients, and just people are dying right and left. And there's protesting happening again, like I said, in Nanyuki, And like the government come out and started shooting people over it because they want to bring in these Ebola facilities for Americans in Kenya. The people don't want it, they're rejecting it, and the government come out and started shooting at them. I mean, I'll show you that because I want you to see that going on there. Hold on. So that's what's happening over there in Kenya because they want to bring a Ebola treatment center to that area. George Washington was a Freemason. He was also a member of the Illuminati. There is part of me that, as I've looked into it, I do wonder if he wanted to leave it, and that's why they killed him, and that's why they bloodlet him. I won't get into that though today. Trying to. So now check this out. This is an interesting one from the Telegraph here. They're saying Ebola may have been spreading unchecked since January. Aid groups fear. And this come out 2 days ago. They're saying that this may have been going on since January. Hold on 1 second. Do you see that? I mean, that's wild stuff, man. Wild stuff. And they don't even know who patient 0 is. They have not even said that. They haven't said we found patient 0. So I'm sorry. They don't understand the origins of this thing yet. They just know it's been spreading a long time. And I'm not going to go into the whole article. You can look this up. Just look up the Telegraph and type this in there and you'll find it and you can read it. But I mean, I'm telling you folks, it has been going on a while, and that's why it's out of control for so long. I'll be honest with you. You're welcome, by the way, Joseph, for answering the question. I've thought about possibly doing like a Q&A, like a questions and answers live. I don't know if y'all would like that or not. If you would like me to do a question and answer live, put it in the comment section after the video and just say, yeah, I'd like you to do questions and answers live. And I'll try to maybe do one, once a week or something like that, or, once every 2 weeks or something like that. I'm not going to answer stupid questions, and I'm not going to answer things I don't know the answer to. I'm not the know-all, right? But I will. There is a lot of questions I could answer, and I want to try to be there for people. So if you would like that, please put in the comment section below that you would like me to do a Q&A episode, and it's just something I've been thinking about doing. Anyways, hold on 1 second. So they're saying, and I'm just going to go ahead and play this because it's important real quick, and then I'll talk about it afterwards. Hold on a second. Oh, wrong one. Whoops. Sorry. All right, we're going to go ahead and play this here.
Says Dr. Mesfin Tessema of the New York-based International Rescue Committee.
This could likely even actually closer even more than what was the West Africa outbreak in 2014-16.
More than 11,000 people died and more than twice that many were infected over 2 years across 10 countries.
I just want to be clear here. You said that this could be worse.
Yes, that is what we are preparing for.
Says Dr.
So, these people are over there. These people see it. These are the people, trying to help people and trying to help, bury all the dead bodies and corpses and stuff that are coming from all of this. And meanwhile, Bill Gates is over in India pushing his digital ID agenda and kind of like, really stroking the egos of the people over in India about how they're implementing this already. I'm going to let you just listen to what good old Kill Gates has to say here, and we'll talk about it afterwards. Or I might pause it intermittently here.
Another place that India leads, but there's a lot more that all of you can be involved in driving forward, is this digital public infrastructure.
Digital public infrastructure, okay? That's digital IDs.
No country is more able to take government benefits and get them out efficiently and effectively to their citizens.
Universal basic income. That's kind of what it's where it's leading. He's talking about, because of their digital system, they can get all these benefits out to people quickly. They're making it sound good, but again, they're talking about this will be good, this will be great, but they don't talk about the tyranny it's going to bring later on.
Than India. You would have expected rich countries or others to do that, but in fact, they did not. And so that basic structure that starts with identity and bank accounts and payments is just foundational. And as part of this visit, I'm now seeing how that foundation is being built out in agriculture with profiles of farmers to understand what they need and give them advice, built out with health records so that we can help people not only with infectious diseases, but the challenge that's coming in the future with the growth.
So what he's saying is right now is that all the agriculture, all the healthcare, all the payments that you can receive from the government, because eventually the government wants you solely dependent on them. A universal basic income with you just only doing what you're told to do. All right. So he's literally talking about a digital ID system and a complete overhaul of the way things work. And he's praising India for being the leading aspect of this.
Of the non-communicable diseases being a huge thing. And that digital public infrastructure will help us with these climate problems. I was in Odisha yesterday, and what they showed is that they've registered the farmers and registered what type of crops they grow and what land they own. They literally have a control center. When you walk in, you think, well,
that would be what we would call like maybe an AI data center, but more like a fusion center.
Wow, this is agriculture, but you've got a command center and maps and people doing queries and sending out messages. And so that all starts, with an Aadhaar identity, listing those farmers, getting the information, making sure it's up to date.
So that tells you everything you need to know. And I mean, there's other countries that are already implementing this structure for Agenda 2030. That is the Agenda 2030 structure, the digital IDs, the 15-minute cities, all of this stuff, being, policed by robots and drones and all of this, and meanwhile, our country begins to fall apart politically. We have the whole, Mamdani guy in New York, that has taken over. And now there's this new guy emerging. His name is, does it say his name on here? They're saying Democrats just chose an Islamic congressional candidate. He's a candidate. He's not in yet, but a congressional candidate in New Jersey reportedly linked to Muslim terrorists and the World Trade Center bombing. He won the primary, is what they're saying. He won the primary. This guy was a defense witness in the 1993 WTC bombing, World Trade Center bombing, and he had alleged ties to Al-Qaeda. That's enough for me, because to be honest with you, I don't believe technically, I believe 9/11 was a self-inflicted wound. They might have had some dudes doing some stuff, but I'll be honest with you, I lean more towards more like holograms and missiles and bombs rather than planes doing the destruction that happened that day. Demolition being more responsible than a plane was. So I don't know how much we can blame Muslims for 9/11 anymore, to be honest with you. But regardless, All right. If he has ties to Al Qaeda, that means he, you know, and I guess he's a jihadi sympathizer. It says he reportedly testified in favor of a jihadi in court and was not truthful about it. So, you know, this shows you, you know, these Muslims are really trying to get into our politics, and that's where it started to go wrong in Europe. And I'm telling you, America, you are toast. And I really do believe, I am going to go down this road, and I don't really care who gets mad, but I really do believe because of the anti-Semitism that has been cooked up in America so heavily by the Illuminati, all right, because trust me, it is, all right, it's not about people, it's about practice, it's about are they Satanists or are they not? Are they a part of a new world order or are they not? There's all these people all across the globe that are involved in this thing, all right? It's not just people who are Jewish, and everybody's making it like it's just the Jews that are doing this. It is absolutely poppycock. Any Jew, all right, that is practicing the Kabbalah or reading the Talmud and practicing those things is not a Jew, all right? And I'm talking Jew as in Jewish, as in Judaism, okay? They're a Hebrew, but they're satanic. That's what they is, all right? They say they're a Jew, and they're not. They're satanic. The Bible talks about it twice in Revelation chapter 2, verse 9, and Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. Those that say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. All right? This is satanic. All right? This is a satanic conspiracy. The conspirators are satanic. Has nothing to do with the Jews. Now, I believe because of the anti-Semitism in this country, it has made a way for America to be invaded by our enemies. I'm going to be honest with you. I believe God has allowed this because of your hatred, America, and your racism, America. I'm just going to put it out there. Just going to put it out there. And I don't care who gets mad. Unsubscribe if that angers you. I don't care. Absolutely doesn't change my anything. All right. Now I'm going to show this here. This one's pretty weird and strange to say the least. And this is the third one, but they keep finding these people who are getting into the sewer systems in New York, and this has happened 3 times. It's been caught on film 3 times. I myself believe that there could be a plethora of things coming from this. There could be, weapons caches, chemical, maybe even ingredients for kaboom, like boom, something that goes boom, ingredients for that. You know what I mean? Down there, they could be putting a lot of stuff down there, or they could just be preparing, something or some kind of terrorist attack or shutting or sabotaging something. But watch this.
People are still talking about some videos going around of crews apparently climbing into and out of manholes in 2 Brooklyn neighborhoods and now one in Queens. The heavy steel manhole covers can weigh 200 to 300 pounds, depending on diameter and thickness.
And what they're pointing out here is that these areas where this is happening are near children's playgrounds. There's a baseball field here. There's a youth program here. There's a playground right here. And then there's a playground right here. So they're right around our children, okay? Just making that very clear if you live in these areas. And they're going down into the manhole right there. And then when they come out, they get picked up by a vehicle. And it's like both those vehicles were there to give them cover so they could go down in there.
And then an hour later in Gravesend, News 12's Morgan Scott is breaking down this bizarre story.
It's almost like a scene from a very specific show. At 2 a.m, you can see them coming out one after the other and then hanging around the sidewalk.
Tonight, spanning 2 neighborhoods. The incidents happened in Williamsburg and Gravesend. About an hour. The NYPD says people were seen breaking into the sewer, entering and exiting through the manhole covers.
Morning, it's one of 2 similar incidents in Brooklyn alone today.
They say there's nothing happening down there.
They were out here to check. They looked around.
Yeah.
Comfortable with
Yeah. No problem.
Shop owner along McDonald Avenue in Gravesend wants an explanation.
I don't know. I haven't a clue. They're not telling us anything.
So I'm gonna be honest with you, man. That's unnerving. These people are not here to assimilate. These people are not here to be a part of America. They are not here to be productive members of society. They are here to overtake us. They are here to destroy America. They are here to rape, kill, steal, and pillage America. That's what I truly believe. And I'm not saying every immigrant, okay? Because I love the culture. I love Hispanic food. I love Indian food. I love all of it, man. And I love trying new things. I think diversity is okay. But there are people here that have a military purpose. There are people here that have marching orders to do nasty things, to do violent things, to shed blood of innocent people here in America. And the stage is being set. The stage is being set. And I don't know if y'all see it, but I see it. I mean, they are priming this cannon and it is ready to fire, dude. I mean, it is just going to take the right little bit and this is all going to come down like a house of cards, man. Big moves are being made, and I hope that people are paying attention because time is very short. You know, Jesus is, in my opinion, the only way out of this. He is the red pill that wakes you up from the matrix. He is the, the life blood that sustains me, that keeps me going. You know, Jesus in even such chaos and in such turbulent times, I have a peace that I just can't explain. You know, yeah, I deal with depression and things like that. I've been feeling a little down lately. But you want to know what? God's in control. And I firmly believe that. And I'm going to keep reporting what's going on. I'm going to keep bringing it to you. And I'm going to keep showing, what their agenda is. You know what I mean? Like they have a plan to move into place this Antichrist figure. You know, Zany was making a good point that, you know, there's the Phoenix Project as well. The Montauk Project. And that's where they were taking kids and like trying to get them to like, you know, move objects with their minds and things like that. But then there was the Phoenix Project. Yeah, that's interesting that you bring it up because I'm pretty sure you brought that up about the dollar bill. But yeah, mind control is a huge part of this. They're controlling the minds of the public. And they're using psychological operations that they've been doing for a long time on victims that have been in the different programs like, you know, MK Ultra, Montauk, Monarchs, Gate, you know, Artichoke, all these different projects, and they're just kind of speeding things up, and they're amplifying it. They're using the things that they've learned to control human minds on the public now, and it seems like the whole entire public's being conditioned. So, you know, take the red pill, take the blood of Jesus Christ, man, because it truly is the only thing I believe that truly wakes you up from this matrix that we're living in. Time is super short. It seems that the cards are all set to fall. The dominoes are set to be knocked over. All it's going to take is the right push. And here we go. So with that being said, here's the end of today's live. I love you all so much. And I hope that you guys are safe today. Bless you. Bless your family. Most of all, bless your children. Bless your coming and your going from your home to where you work, to where you shop, to where you take your kids to school, at your children's schools, and just that, you know, your children's friend's house. I pray that, you know, that the Lord just follows you, keeps you safe, surrounds you with guardian angels, covers you with his blood and his precious Holy Spirit. In Jesus' name, amen. May God bless you all. May he keep you. And please don't forget to go out and change this world in which you live.